So, why do they look like this? Hey guys, welcome to this installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs. And as you can see, my car chairs have finally been finished. Well, for the most part finished. As you can see in the picture, or in the first shot, there's one minor thing that I have to take care of. But let's actually take a look at the finished product with how these chairs have become. So this is something that I have wanted to do for a long time, and I found these Pontiac Montana third row seats that a gentleman down the street was getting rid of at no cost. They were in perfect condition, well, near perfect. I cleaned them up a little bit. I might need to clean them up just a little bit more, but for the most part they are pretty clean. I vacuumed them, I scrubbed them a little bit, and they're just in really good shape. No holes, no tears, nothing. So I lucked out in finding a good pair. And as you can see, something that I've always wanted to do was to actually build some sort of frame for these to sit on. So they're actually, you know, become more so just ordinary chairs rather than chairs in a vehicle. So the challenge with these is the fact that these are our seats from a minivan, and I really wasn't quite sure on how I was going to build the platform for these, because a lot of the other seats that I've seen that people have made using car seats, they actually have the like the frame that you would actually bolt into the wood. The problem with the minivan seats here is that they don't have a frame. They have basically those hooks because they're removable seats. So I really wasn't quite sure 100% on how I was going to build a platform where these will sit on properly. But I kind of figured it out. So it's basically like a table, as you can see. There's no center. And what I wanted to do, the advantage of these being the minivan seats, is that you don't have to have them necessarily bolted down completely. So what I ended up doing was I bought a steel rod, and I don't know if you can see it quite yet, but I put the steel rod right here. As you can see, I drove it into the one leg, and it actually attaches to the hook, the two front hooks, and into this thing that I made here. So that way you can actually pull on the lever, or push the lever, one of them. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, and it'll open the hook, and therefore you can actually take the seats off. So it'd be just like using them in the minivan itself. You could fold the seat down, and of course you'd need both hands, but see, you can actually tilt the seat upward and then just pull on the front lever there and pull on the seat towards you, toward the back here, and then you can actually take it off the platform. That way, if it needs to be moved, you can easily move them a piece at a time instead of carrying the entire unit. So that's the advantage of having the minivan seats. Another advantage that I liked was, as you can see, even though this is extremely tall right now, but if nobody was sitting here, you can fold the seat down when it's next to you and actually use the cup holders here. Or when I get back to doing my video series and I'm down here with my laptop, I can put my car literature and stuff here and have the laptop here, of course, and do my research, and that way I have a nice table for a drink or to put my you know, dealer literature and stuff on. So that's another really awesome advantage to having these types of seats. So anyway, I think that they turned out pretty well. I don't think I really got to the height issue yet, but as you can see, they need to be cut down. The first one ended up to be way too tall, and I didn't realize it because I was kind of going off of my kitchen chairs, which I think I measured up to be about a total of I forget how tall it was offhand, but I didn't take into account the actual padding of the seat. So maybe right about here is where my kitchen chairs are, and then I didn't take that into account. So when I made the second one, I know I took 5 inches off, so there's a 5-inch difference in between the first seat and the second seat, and I still think the second seat might be a little too tall also. It's not as bad. I mean, at least I can sit here. My feet are on the ground and it's still pretty comfortable. But the only problem is these seats, and I didn't think of this either, but you have the arch. The seats kind of slant downward this way, so the thigh support is here and you kind of get too much pressure on your thighs. So I want them both to be cut down just a tad. I think this one might be okay. The camera's not focusing. There we go. Sorry about that. So this one I want cut down maybe another 2 inches might do it. And this one, that one needs to be cut down quite a bit to match the other one. So needless to say, they're done. It probably honestly cost me maybe in the ballpark of around $50 to $60 to do all this. I had to buy, I think I ended up using I think 6 pieces of lumber. They're 2x4 and they were 96 inches long. So I went through 6 of those, and those were almost $4 a piece. I bought 2 different kinds of construction screws. Well, I bought 1 box of construction screws and then 1 box of deck screws. This one has the feet on it since it was closer to being complete, and that one doesn't have feet on it yet, so I have to buy feet for it once we get it cut down. What else did I buy? The steel rod was a couple dollars. So I mean, all in all, it really wasn't too expensive to actually build this. I actually have another piece of lumber that I did buy in the basement that I'm taking back to Home Depot now, actually. So I think it was 6 pieces that I went through, and I still well, I had to rebuild this one, so that's why I ended up buying another piece to use, because if I think I videoed the original one, I can't remember offhand now, but it was too narrow and the seat was actually sitting at a slant, and I didn't really notice it until I started building the second one. And you know, so I tore all of the center pieces completely off of the first one and had to recut them. So they're not 100% perfect, and I'm honestly okay with that. I am not a carpenter by all means. I've never built anything before. Oh, and this needs to be chopped off too, because this was part of my original design. Before I thought of the bar idea to keep the seat from actually falling backwards, I originally was going to build something to keep the seat from tumbling back, but then the idea of the bar was kind of passed to me by another person I told, so didn't really need the extra length there, so we're going to chop that off too. But yeah, I honestly don't care how it looks. Maybe in time I'll have somebody actually kind of sand it and maybe stain it to match the color of my floor or something similar. I think a cherry color would look good with that gray. I think that's a pretty good combination. And a lot of it, honestly, other than actually measuring how long each piece was going to be, all of it was by eye. I didn't measure the distance between, you know, the gap from the top to the middle piece. It was all just kind of done with my eyeball, but I think it looks pretty good, and it'll look a lot better once they're chopped down to be evenly sized. So Why don't we go ahead and head on out the door to return this piece of lumber. So I came outside, found a random peanut sitting in my driveway. I'm assuming it was a squirrel. Where's that music coming from? I think the neighbors are having a cookout. Let's return the lumber. A great thing to have with the Escape that honestly I don't think the new Escapes do is this back window, because when I use the vehicle to haul this lumber, it obviously is a lot longer than the car itself. But you fold the seat down and you put that through there. There's a little thing in the console that I stick it in, and I can use it to kind of get that from where it needs to go, and it doesn't flop around or anything. It actually stays in place pretty well. So that's one nice advantage to my generation Escape, is the back window opening. And like I said, I don't think the new Escapes do that. I could be wrong. I never really looked into that when I was test driving them and everything for Mike's Vehicle Spotlight. But that's a nice feature, and if the new ones don't have it, it's kind of a bummer that they don't. Well guys, as this is also being filmed, today is July 2nd. I can't believe we're already more than halfway through the year. This 2017 so far is just flying by, and it's amazing. I feel like we shouldn't even be that far into it yet. But today's July 2nd, and I have been without an actual camera and without studio software now for a couple weeks, and it's honestly killing me. I think that's why I got the chairs done, is because I really don't have anything else to work on. Hopefully, I keep saying this in every video that I've made so far, vlog wise, but I'm hoping by the time that these air, I would have found my solution. So I'm actually closer to getting either the camera or the software. I honestly don't know which I need first now, because I have a camera to kind of tie me over. So at this point I'm thinking the studio software may have to come first. So I'm looking at studio software, pricing it out, and just trying to save up the funds to purchase the new software. I have my eye on a camera that I found on Amazon, and it's actually a Sony Handycam. It's a little more advanced than mine, which is great because I'd rather have something newer than older. It's slightly used, so but it's actually really cheap for how you know, how nice and advanced it is compared to what it would cost brand new. And hopefully it'll be there by the time I get the money to get it. It's not that old of a camera. The oldest that it can be is either 2 or 3 years old, and that's, as you can see, that'll still provide plenty of life for me and the video series. So we're still kind of playing the waiting game, and hopefully I'm not losing any support or any subscribers through this process, because I miss doing Mike's Vehicle Spotlight, and I was really enjoying the Saturday, you know, having them done once a week thing. It kept me busy and everything. So now I just don't know what to do with myself. Apparently I'm turning into a carpenter. Other than that, you know, it's been a nice weekend. It's, you know, the 4th of July weekend. The 4th actually falls on a Tuesday this year, so a lot of people are doing their cookouts and everything today and yesterday, and we went to a couple of picnics yesterday. Well, we went to a picnic yesterday, and then the town that I live in had our fireworks last night too. So it's almost like our 4th is over, but on the actual 4th I'm off work for once, and we're probably gonna do something later on that evening too, somewhere else. So that's what's going on. All right, here we are, Home Depot, going to return a piece of wood. All the way out here just for a piece of wood. So one thing that worries me about having the rear window open, or like the vibrations and stuff. And I'm afraid, I get afraid of going over bumps and stuff when that window's open, because I could just picture it shattering. I'm sure it's pretty tough glass, but you know, it's just one of those like uneasy feelings. So now that that is done and I got my $3.64 back into my account, I have to go to the store and get a couple of things. If only every road around here was freshly paved and freshly painted like this one. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Alright, so we're home now. I went to Dollar General because I didn't feel like going to a big store, so I got a lot of what I needed at Dollar General, and some of the things fell out of the bags. Oh, while I'm over here, I'll give you guys an update on the rust situation. So that's what we're facing. I think I showed it to you guys a little while ago, this situation here, and I actually had an estimate on how much it would cost to fix this and the bubbling there, you can see the bubbles. And I have been told even by the guy who gave me the estimate not to even worry about it. He said it's not worth it. It would cost a little under $2 grand. So I don't know if it was just his price or if it's going to be like that just about everywhere else. But basically what causes this is, what I found out is, behind this panel there's some insulation foam, and kind of deadens out the sound from inside the car, and apparently it wasn't sealed up too well. So a lot of these escapes are known for this issue because moisture gets in the foam, and of course it stays there and it kind of rusts from the inside out. So that's why this, if we actually feel in here, it's, you know, it just doesn't feel right. There's gaps and everything, and it's upsetting. I think trying to keep the outside of it clean and even washing here, it might be keeping it from showing up faster. But nonetheless, it's gonna show up regardless, and it kind of upsets me because I don't like having rust on my vehicles. So I might see if somebody else can give me another quote, and if it's a lot cheaper, then we'll go from there. But that's how it is for now. Alright guys, so that's all I've got for today. If you like this vlog, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And also check out some older Mike's Vehicle Spotlight features, since I'm not really making them right now. I've got plenty to look through, almost 7 years worth. So give it a look, and then stay tuned to these vlogs and such for when we'll be able to get back on track with those being out every Saturday. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.